Thank you for taking time out of your evening to be here tonight. So I'd like to begin by welcoming you to today's budget hearing for the proposed fiscal year 2025-26 city trial budget. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our interpreter for the evening, Elsie Duarte.
Thank you. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Elsie Duarte, junto con mis colegas Capriz Moreno y Harry Palma estaremos interpretándoles esta tarde. Nos gustaría que pasara aquí a la mesa al fondo donde está Harry haciendo la señal. Pasen ahí si van a necesitar audífonos para poder escuchar la sesión en español. Y el siguiente instructivo es para las personas que van a pasar aquí al frente a hacer un comentario. Ya no será necesario hacer pausas y esto significa que usted podrá hablar libremente sin interrupciones durante el tiempo disponible. Sus comentarios serán interpretados al momento que usted termine de hablar. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Elsie. Next, the feedback we received today is very important, and we realize, and as we finalize the proposed trial budget to present to City Council, we want your input to be heard and considered before the budget is approved. The proposed budget will be presented to the City Council on May 6th and voted on May 21st. Information on the proposed budget is available in the tabloid at the main table and available in English and Spanish. Please visit our website if you would like more information at phoenix.gov/budget. If you wish to speak at today's hearing on the proposed budget, please fill out a comment card. And if you wish to leave a comment but not speak, you can fill out the comment card and select no to speak. So we will now play a short video on the proposed trial budget. Immediately following the video, we will have Councilwoman Pastor make some remarks.
The City of Phoenix thrives because of the services we all rely on, from keeping our neighborhoods safe to offering enriching programs and maintaining vital infrastructure. And like any well-run household, planning for the future starts with the budget. Right now, the City of Phoenix is developing its budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026, a roadmap of how we'll allocate resources to best serve our community. This isn't a process that happens overnight. Throughout the year, city departments work hard to estimate the costs of maintaining the services we currently enjoy. Then in March, the city manager proposes a preliminary budget, a trial budget, that carefully balances estimated resources with projected expenses. This important document is now ready for everyone to look at. Your voice matters. In April, the city actively seeks your input through community budget hearings, by phone, email, and even on social media. This feedback is crucial to ensuring the budget reflects the priorities of our residents and the City Council. Then in May, the City Council will carefully consider all this input before voting on the budget, with legal adoption scheduled in June. Finally, the property tax levy ordinance will be adopted in early July. To understand the budget, it's helpful to know how it's structured. Think of it as three main accounts. The general fund is like our main checking account. It supports many of the core services you see every day: our libraries, parks, senior and youth programs, and critical police and fire services. This fund is made up of revenue from things like general sales tax, property taxes, and a portion of state income, sales, and vehicle taxes, as well as some fines and fees. Then there are enterprise funds. These operate more like businesses, charging those who directly use their services. This includes departments like water services, Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, and solid waste. Finally, special revenue funds are like accounts with specific instructions. These funds are earmarked for particular purposes, often coming from grants or voter-approved sales taxes dedicated to things like parks and preserves, transportation, and public safety. Now let's talk about the current budget situation. Like many cities, Phoenix is facing some financial headwinds. Over the next few years, we're looking at potential structural deficits, primarily due to actions taken at the state level and rising costs. Recently, the state eliminated the ability for cities to collect residential rental sales tax, and they also lowered the individual income tax rate. These changes mean less ongoing revenue coming into the city. But this is where careful planning and proactive measures come in. Our city staff and leadership have been working diligently to find solutions to ensure we maintain a balanced budget as required by state law, and to ensure the city can continue to deliver to residents existing services without cutting programs or fill jobs to balance the budget. To make sure the budget can stay balanced, offset the losses from state actions to reduce our revenues, provide the necessary resources to protect current programs, and provide the funds necessary for critical adds to the budget, several strategies are included in this tribal budget. The City Council voted on March 18th to increase the transaction privilege tax rate from 2.3% to 2.8% effective July 1st, 2025. This will generate revenue to pay for programs and services. Reprioritize the current general fund budget to reduce expenditures without impacting service delivery or fill jobs, and provide capacity to add higher priority items. Set aside projected resources to help balance future budgets and protect against any economic slowdown or further impacts from the state to limit local control and further reduce our revenues. Use excise tax proceeds to finance large public safety capital and infrastructure projects, including 2 new fire stations and additional apparatus. Now let's talk about what this budget means for some key services. For the Phoenix Fire Department, there's a proposal for additional funding to reduce emergency response times. This includes hiring more firefighters to staff existing and new fire stations and new apparatus. Addressing homelessness remains a critical priority. The proposed budget includes revised estimates of $4.5 million in general fund resources for the Office of Homeless Solutions in 2025-26. This funding is needed because some of the federal pandemic-era funding is ending. This money will help continue shelter operations at places like Rio Fresco, the Phoenix Navigation Center, and the Washington Shelter, as well as support heat relief efforts for our unsheltered neighbors. Looking ahead, the budget also proposes a $5.6 million addition to the non-general fund budget for the Water Services Department. This would fund the reopening of the Cave Creek Water Reclamation Plant, allowing the city to expand its capacity for wastewater treatment and water purification, ensuring we can meet future needs. These are thoughtful strategies aimed at addressing the financial challenges while protecting the vital services that make Phoenix a great place to live, work, and visit. Our city employees, from our dedicated first responders to the professionals managing our parks and libraries, are deeply committed to serving this community and always have your best interests at heart. They work hard every day to ensure Phoenix remains a vibrant and thriving city. We understand that discussing budget figures can sometimes feel overwhelming. But know that the City of Phoenix has a long history of responsible budgeting. By engaging in this process together with your input and the careful work of city professionals, we are confident that we will continue to deliver the essential services you expect and deserve, building a stronger Phoenix for tomorrow.
At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Councilwoman Laura Pastor.
Thank you. I first want to start off to thank city staff for being here and being able to host a budget off-city site in the sense that it takes a lot of preparation. So I would like to thank you for doing that because sometimes I forget to say that. Welcome to the budget hearing number 2. I was there last night and we had 6 people, so we doubled. We're at 12 tonight, so that's great for the comments and making it happen. I really appreciate you being here and making your requests as we go through this budget process, so thank you.
So we will now begin the speaking portion of the hearing tonight. So please approach the podium, the microphone, when your name is called. And just as a reminder, we have Spanish interpretation by Elsie for today's hearing. So we're going to get started with our first speaker, Daphne Cortez, followed by Thomas Kendra and Joseph Dora. So Daphne, you're up first.
My name is Daphne Cortez, and I'm a climate community organizer in Maryville with Brimo. I don't know if you guys know this, but Maryville is the hottest area in the city. It's actually 4 to 6 degrees hotter on a summer day. We've been talking to the community members, and what's been coming up repeatedly in conversation is the need for heat-proof public spaces, shaded walkways, and complete streets. While the city has done some projects on this, we need expansion of these projects specifically in Maryville. This community has historically been divested from, and we're asking for more investment now. Councilwoman Pastor, we know you care about the community and that you lead on the council, and we'd like to ask for your support to invest in a planning effort to lower heat in Maryville, in partnership with the Heat Mitigation Office and local leaders to prioritize the most needed investments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Thomas, followed by Joseph.
Right, my name is Thomas Kendra. I'm from the DFW. I represent the district, the first level officers. You guys may know we've been at war for the last 25 years. We have veterans, combat veterans that have been around for a very long time. These soldiers were not represented by any of our national laws. The PACT Act was passed a few years ago. We now have all these soldiers that are eligible for benefits now, but we do not have enough service officers to represent them. We have 70,000 veterans in the city of Phoenix. We have 5 service officers. Service officers are liaisons between the soldier and the VA. They are not gatekeepers, but they assist to get through the paperwork that is required by the VA in order to get their benefits. The reason this is important because illnesses are latent for a lot of these soldiers. It's not just a gunshot wound. It is lymphoma, cancers, COPD, events like that from burn pits, toxic exposures. There's a lot of people in this room that probably know about toxic exposures. So these five service officers do not have enough time to manage these in a timely fashion. If the service officers can't take care of them, they have to go through private lawyers. These lawyers charge 15 to 50% for the first 2 years of their disability pay. These soldiers need money now. Some of these don't have, they're not going to be around 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Some of these cancers are very aggressive. Sarcomas be very aggressive, actually possibly lose limbs and probably their life. So the faster we get them into the system, the better off their family is. Without being eligible for getting benefits, if they die before the benefits are approved, their family may be at risk of not receiving continuation of benefits to help support their families. So we need about 8 to 10 more service officers just in the greater Phoenix area. These service officers do not make a lot of money. It's in the tune of about $40,000 per year for a service officer. So the amount of money that we would actually need to support the city of Phoenix is about $350,000. If anyone has any questions for me, I'll be sitting around here until the end of the meeting, or they
is Joseph. Joseph will be followed by Dante Mitchell and Ben Rose.
Hi, my name is Joseph Dora. I'm a United States Marine Corps vet. Born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm here representing VFW Post 720 in Phoenix, Arizona. We've been a part of our community since 1921 continuously. We're currently experiencing a shortfall in funding, like Comrade Tom was speaking, and we need help. We're asking for the city of Phoenix to step up. We're losing a lot of things at the national level. We need some funding to help our service members and their families to get the benefits they've earned. We're requesting $350,000 to develop a service officer that will run through the VFW. We believe that these funds will not only help monetarily, but also help with the homeless program homelessness that we're seeing in Phoenix now. If these veterans get the benefits they deserve, they'll not only have health care, but they'll also have money in their pockets which can help them pay for rent. So we're requesting that the city of Phoenix help us and give us $350,000 to help our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you. Dante?
Dante Mitchell, resident here in District 4, live on the Street Indian School. Thank you for having this public comment hearing. Really want to push the importance of arts and culture. I know we're in a budget deficit, a budget situation, but supporting arts and culture is always going to be important. It impacts our quality of life. Arts and culture can also be utilized for other priorities, such as keep resiliency plans, making sure that our public art is accessible, interactive. It can also be that public art can also be used to reduce the heat island effect, promote green spaces, things like that. I also want to speak in favor of the 3rd Street protected bike lane through downtown Phoenix, having access to the Salt River corridor. That's super important. From also enhanced option E for protected bike lanes, which is the protected bike lanes on from 7th Street to the 51 on McDowell. That's super important. Protected bike lanes, reduce traffic, increase pedestrian safety, which is all part of the Vision Zero pedestrian safety plan. We definitely need to promote that. Reducing deaths from pedestrian traffic or from vehicular traffic is super important. I'm also generally opposed to the suicide lanes on 7th Street and 7th Avenue. Nobody follows the rules. They're dangerous. The average speed of traffic is probably 45 miles an hour. Some cars do 20, 30 miles in addition to that. So I would love to see those disappear and protected bike lanes exist there. There's the 51, there's a 17. There are other options to get in and out of downtown. They're generally not full, but again, speeders, people who don't follow the rules that exist already, all increase risks and deaths. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Ben is next. Ben will be followed by Angel Algren and then John Walker.
All right. Ben Lucas, United Phoenix Firefighters. I represent, along with my colleagues, 1,800 firefighters within the city of Phoenix. Speak in favor of the budget, and also want to thank council and leadership in the city. I know it's something that we've been talking about for a long time, and within my 20-year career, they've planned or scheduled to be able to add more resources than we've added in my entire career, for sure. Just want to speak a little bit to why that is important, and I think it kind of gets lost sometimes within the community. We have, right now, when I first got hired as a firefighter, we had maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fire trucks running 3,000 calls a shift, or 3,000 calls a year. We, at this point in time, have about 3/4 of our fleet running 3,000 calls a year. That's not a complaint. I can promise you, everybody who works for your fire department loves serving and loves getting on the fire truck and going on calls and helping the community. Where that creates a problem is there's a direct correlation between response time. When those trucks are so busy, they're actually missing calls in their first due that is having to be responded to by a second due or third due company. As I speak to you as the leader of United Phoenix Firefighters, or one of the leaders, I also speak to you as a citizen and somebody who grew up in Phoenix and somebody whose childhood home burned down because of this response time. I grew up at 44th Street in Elliott. Closest fire truck to my parents' house is less than a half a mile away. When their house started as a very small fire, it started getting up into the attic. First closest fire truck wasn't there. Second closest truck was on another call. Third closest truck was at the hospital. They got the fourth closest truck. And that may sound like a coincidence, but I can promise you it's really not. It ultimately took the first truck to get to my parents' house in 19 minutes. That's what's happening across the city right now. That's just a factual reality. What you should know is that this current city leadership and this current council did create this problem, but unfortunately it's fallen into our laps to fix. It's a product of the city growing hundreds of thousands of people over the last decade, with us only adding I think 1 station, 2 stations, they can run that for you. Stations take a long time to build, and that's why early investment is important. Fire trucks right now take about 3 years to build. Fire stations about another year or so, and they have to actually approve it to be done. I know that they want to do this. I know that they're trying. I know they keep getting thrown, one problem, one hurdle after another, and we've seen me frequently, Amber, have to deal with this stuff. So I know they're trying, but just trying to communicate what it is that's going on out there, and also to make it clear, as we represent these firefighters, this isn't about pay at all. There's nothing about this investment that they're doing that is going to create pay raises for our people or do anything like that. They truly want to help. We signed up to be able to do our job, and there's nothing worse than driving to a call and hearing panic in the voice of an officer on scene who's already there saying, step it up, drive as fast as you can. We're miles away going as fast as we can, whether that's a baby in the pool, heart attack, shooting, car accident, whatever it is. It's a gut-wrenching feeling to know that we can't get there as fast as we'd like to. So that's what it's there. Again, we speak in favor of the budget. Thank you for the work you've done on it, and look forward to hopefully future investment in the fire department. So, thank you.
Thank you. Angel is next.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angel Algarin, and I'm a resident of District 4, and I hold a PhD in public health. I'm here today to urge you to prioritize funding for public health in this year's city's budget, particularly in the areas of HIV prevention and care. Between 2022 and 2023, Arizona experienced a 20% increase in new HIV infections, rates we haven't seen since the late 80s, which was largely driven by Maricopa County. With federal funding for HIV-related programs now being cut, it is up to local governments like Phoenix to lead the charge to ensure that this crisis does not continue to grow. We already have the tools to prevent and treat HIV, but access to those tools depends on sustained investment in community-based organizations, outreach, and local infrastructure. One such effort, the Fast Track City Ad Hoc Committee, is already working to coordinate our local responses to the HIV epidemic. Continued support and funding for this initiative is vital if we are serious about ending the HIV epidemic here in Phoenix. This is about saving lives, advancing equity, and making Phoenix continue to lead with compassion and evidence-based public health strategies. I respectfully urge you to make HIV prevention a clear funding priority. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. John Walker will be our next speaker, followed by Alejandro Bucon, and then Laura Sands.
Good evening. My name is John Walker. I'm here with my daughters, Evelyn and Annika, and I'm here on behalf of the Phoenix spokespeople to speak in favor of increased funding for bike infrastructure. Phoenix spokespeople has been going to these budget hearings since 2013 or so, so it's been a long time, and we've seen a lot of progress from the city in terms of bike lanes. So we really thank the city for that, specifically 3rd Street. We ride up and down 3rd Street on our bikes every day, and it's been wonderful to see that change happen in the past couple of years. Also, 3rd and 5th Avenues in the Willow neighborhood have been really fantastic. So I want to thank the city for that. I think what would be tremendous is for every major arterial road that we have, we could also have a corresponding parallel street with protected bike infrastructure to give folks a way to get around, not in their cars, and really in the future to reduce vehicular motorized traffic and make our streets safer, more accessible for pedestrians, scooters, bikes, e-bikes. One example of the lack of infrastructure that we have is we ride on Virginia, the their school. And the past several months, they've been riding their own bikes, which has been a lot of fun. And I take my cargo bike with my little 5-year-old boy who's not here. But because Virginia is not a great road to ride a bike on, especially if you're a little kid, because there's no bike lane, there's curb bump outs that narrow the road, so that's good, but you do have to be right in the lane of traffic. So if you're going 70 miles an hour as a kid, that's not really safe. So they have to ride on the sidewalks, and unfortunately, Annika came across part of the sidewalk that there was mesquite needles there, so she slipped, the bike slipped out from under her, and she got scraped up decently. And that's really something that shouldn't have to happen. We should have good infrastructure like 3rd Street and 3rd Ave that's separated from them. And she might want to tell you a little bit more about that. Also, I want to talk briefly about South Phoenix and the city's ongoing connection with 3rd Street going farther south into there with the bridge over Rio Salado. And I really would encourage the city to continue to move forward and make progress with that, to continue or to connect that underserved community. I think that would be a good way. And you know, we hear a lot of crashes and roadway violence, especially in parts of town that don't have very good bike infrastructure or pedestrian infrastructure. So that's really it for me. Let me see if this comes off, or, well, Evelyn, did you want to say anything about why you think biking is important?
I like riding my bike to school. It's a good exercise and it doesn't spread pollution.
Annika?
I say we should clean up our sidewalks because when I slipped on the leaves, it really hurt it. And I don't want anyone else to have that happening to them. So I say we should clean it up.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alejandra Bilbon, and I am here as a resident of District 4 and a proud user and supporter of the Phoenix Public Library. I also serve on the board of the Friends of the Phoenix Public Library. I urge you to reconsider the proposed $250,000 cut to the library, which includes cuts to the library's bulk budget. These cuts will directly impact our community's most vulnerable residents, those who rely on the library for access to books, media, and educational resources they cannot afford to purchase. I work at St. Vincent de Paul, where I see firsthand how crucial library resources are. My most recent intern, Genesis, is a first-generation college student attending ASU. The library was instrumental in helping her finish high school, and now it continues to support her success in college. The people we serve in our shelters also desperately need access to library materials to learn basic skills and rebuild their lives. One resident I know loves checking out cookbooks and historical novels, small things that help her stay engaged and continue her journey from living on the streets to stable housing and a healthier life. And let's not forget the children in our Dream Center at St. Vincent de Paul. Kids light up when they discover new books, and teenagers hold onto their love of reading. But if we don't fund the material budget properly, they'll have to wait longer for books, delays that will affect their learning and enthusiasm for reading. Our library system is more than just a collection of books. It's a getaway to education, opportunity, and meaning. Cutting its resources means cutting off access to knowledge. I respectfully ask you to fully fund the library budget and keep our libraries strong for all Phoenicians. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Laura is our next speaker. Laura will be followed by Terry Valentine and Dorian Brendan.
Hi everyone, my name is Laura Sands. I'm a resident of District 4. I live in the Willow neighborhood and I am a board member of Phoenix Spokespeople. I come to speak tonight about the value of investing in high quality bike infrastructure like is going into Willow right now on 3rd Avenue and 5th Avenue. It's a great boon for bicyclists to have a protected bike lane, which means not only paint or an extra couple feet on the roadway, but it's a concrete barrier that gives a feeling of safety and probably actual safety in separating cyclists from the cars that are going past. It slows down vehicles because it narrows the roadway. And the thing that you might not know if you don't live in Willow is that it's become something of a linear park. It's the most amazing thing. It has activated our neighborhood in a way that the painted lanes, which have been there for as long as I've lived in the neighborhood, have not done. You see runners, bicyclists, dog walkers, all out on the street, using these lanes as multi-purpose lanes. It's fantastic. And I'd like to see, as the city continues to invest in bicycle lanes, as we continue to densify the central city, to invest in high-quality lanes on Fillmore downtown, on 3rd Street through downtown, connecting the north part of the city with the south part of the city all the way to the Rio Salado, so that we have more people out. And when you're on your bike, all you do is you say howdy to people as you're biking past. It's the greatest experience. When I'm in my car, I'm not a nice person, and I don't like that version of me. So, and I think everybody relates to this. So I really appreciate all the investment that the city has made in bicycle infrastructure so far, and I encourage you to continue to invest in these in protected lanes and in opportunities for people to bring their best selves into the public sphere. Thank you.
My name is Terry Doppelman. I am a disabled American veteran, and I am here representing the Disabled American Veterans DAV Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the only chapter in the entire city of Phoenix. What was said earlier about the chapter service officers is, I can echo that. We within the DAV do have chapter service officers, but not enough. And what we do as chapter services officers is that we assist veterans, any veteran, they do not need to be a DAV member, any veteran or their family who needs assistance with either claims, housing, jobs, acting as resources. We only have 4 current CSOs, chapter service officers, and we'll have 2 more in May. Not enough to cover all the vets that need help. We get calls from all over the state. Our chapter is although a Phoenix chapter, we handle Tempe, Scottsdale, Payson, all the way up to Shola. And we're trying to get as much help to veterans as we can. So what I would ask for is that some financial offset for folks for veterans who have a disability to join the DAV, and then with the purpose of becoming a chapter service officer, so we can get more help out there. Unfortunately, you do have to be disabled to be a part of DAV, but you don't have to be disabled to receive assistance from us. We even help active duty folks who may be having trouble. I've got a few people I'm helping with the National Guard in Phoenix right now. The other thing is that thanks to VFW Post 720, we are a chapter without a home. One thing that makes it even more difficult for us is that we don't have a space to meet with veterans. It's very difficult to talk about someone's claim issues, medical issues, the things that they need help with over a phone. So chapters VW Post 720 has given us space temporarily until there could be a permanent space, not only for us to meet and have an administrative space, but space so that we can meet face-to-face with veterans and their families. So in addition to what has been asked for the DAV, I'm asking for $400,000.
Thank you. Next speaker is Joanna. Will be followed by Carl Ford and Karen Cruz.
Hi, so I just safety nets with the homeless population, people struggling with the edge of homelessness, and the safety nets provided to families and such. Being part of the Fund for Empowerment with Elizabeth Venable as a co-founder. We do focus on a lot of outreach and stuff like that. Experienced homelessness myself, having to live out of hotels for 5 months, working nonstop to pay for that, and then finally moving and paying my first month's rent this month. So, knowing that struggle myself, I know that there are a lot of gaps, even with the programs that are outreach, like bills or with safety nets of homelessness, with families and stuff like that. There are a lot of gaps that are still there, especially with the knowledge of what to do and the outdated information that there is out there, such as with when I personally reached out to mental health professionals that I had already had standing with, like I'm going through something, I'm on the breach of homelessness, what can I do? And the information they had was phone lines that just ring and ring and ring, programs that are out of date, things that aren't even funded anymore. And just the knowledge of that being spread, information being correct at a base is something that we need. So just wanted to stress that as far as, a baseline, if you do need, more stuff, just, come and let us know at Fund for Empowerment. And we can, help you with the specifics, but thank you very much for your time, all your efforts, and your consideration for the budget.
Carlson. Karen Cruz.
Shorter. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. My name is Karen Cruz, and I am a resident of District 4, and I'm a proud board member of the Friends of the Phoenix Library, representing the nearly 1 million library card users, 2 million users of our 17 libraries, and really all of our library lovers, including a former Friends board member, which is the great Verna Pastor, Councilwoman's mother. And we are respectfully opposing the $250,000 cut to our library materials. This would really impact adversely our low-income neighbors and increase wait times, as my colleague Ali suggested. Sometimes for really hot items, there's a long wait as it is. To defund or decrease funding for these library materials would just increase the wait time for not only materials, but also educational materials, which would be a very bad thing for our community. So please continue to support our award-winning libraries and reinstate the $250,000 into the budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Frank Urban, followed by Elizabeth Venable.
Hi, my name is Frank Urban. I'm with Fund for Empowerment, and I would like to speak on behalf of our homeless population. We need a better way of the collection and redistribution of the homeless property. Because I was homeless myself for about 4 years, a while back, on the streets of Sunny Slope. And the police used to do what they call raids, which is they wake us up at 2 or 3 in the morning line everyone up, do a warrant check. Those that had warrants, of course, went to jail, yada, yada. But those that didn't were given 10 to 15 minutes to grab all of their belongings and bring them over to a designated area. Now, it wouldn't bother the cops if you were in a wheelchair or on crutches or not mentally all there. They would give everyone 10 to 15 minutes to do so, and if they didn't do it in that allotted time, they would have a City of Phoenix truck come in, load up all of their belongings into that truck, and that stuff would never be seen again. It would be taken to a landfill. Now, we do have a federal injunction against the police department to stop this behavior. And from what I understand, you know, for some cops, you know, old habits die hard. I understand that. But it shouldn't happen. The homeless are human beings, just like everyone in this room, and everyone in this room is themselves at risk of being homeless, just one paycheck away from it. Doesn't matter whether you're ultra rich like Donald Trump or Joe Schmo on the street, we're all at risk. And I also would like to point out that we need more affordable housing, and that should be affordable to everyone, even including people just coming off the streets. And with that, I'll close.
Elizabeth is our next speaker.
Hopefully we don't run out of comments or something, because I have something going on, but, you know, I just like it. So, I wanted to thank Councilmember Pastor for being an ally in a lot of ways to people experiencing homelessness in the city of Phoenix. I think it doesn't always come across when a different council member forces a vote on a certain issue, and sometimes you don't have freedom to respond in the way that, you know, by an ideal world you might want to respond. However, you know, I believe very much that behind the scenes, Councilman Pastor, you've had a tremendous impact on making the city progress with regards to housing and homelessness. The city of Phoenix has made some, frankly, historical investments in housing and homelessness for about the past 3 years. And as you know, we're always done, and we will always be there, and we will get the job done. But, you know, really, one of the things about the organization I represent, Homeless Empowerment, is that it's a multiple person effort, you know? We show up with a lot of speakers because they're directly impacted people. We want for you to be able to hear real stories. You know, there are pluses and minuses about, you know, certain facilities that have been created, you know, quality control, you know, the return on investment, sheltered housing, especially on taking people off the streets, you know, and really, you know, a lot of those arguments are made so that it can convince people, including yourself, to be an ally. and have more power to be an ally, right? And so I appreciate very much the continued investment by the city in the facilities you created to address the homelessness problem. Obviously, if I had, a fictional budget, I would advocate for more facilities. However, federal assistance right now is not forthcoming. And, I appreciate the priority the city has placed on continuing to fund these investments from the general fund. Even when the ARPA money's gone and there's plan managed sort of dissolving the federal housing, whatever. So, and it's not coming from state tourism right now, so, we'll see what happens. And so, it's really, I think, important to recognize, that these are really unprecedented budget allocations, especially for the general. It's really, actually, a big deal how much the city has invested in these facilities, and it saves lives, to be honest. It saves lives, it defrays costs, and, it stops people's, it lowers the chance that people's civil rights are challenged, because if people are housed, or going through shelters, maybe on the way to housing, finding some stability, it just improves the economy, it gives people work, it gives people stability, I don't want to be too redundant, but it saves lives. The only thing I would say is, I understand Proposition 312, right? There's a tremendous penalty now on cities, I hope I don't get too long, but whatever. There's a tremendous penalty now on cities for not enforcing anti-homeless ordinances, lest property owners, I think businesses, be able to get refunds on their property tax, essentially, for proving the city has not addressed the law enforcement. And it's really unfortunate because it prompts sort of negative behaviors that, I see otherwise changing. And, so on this, real quick, I want to say that property destruction is still a really important issue. It's Supreme Court did not invalidate it, and it's coming around. There may be alternative strategies that might have a different ending for the injunction, but I'm not authorized to talk about it. But anyways, I just think it's great that you guys have made these investments. They're tremendous. They're historic. As far as I think, there's about, I don't know the exact number for the general fund, but there's probably about $250 million that's been spent on housing and homelessness, and that might be smaller than what it is. So, this is a massive investment, and I just want to say, I appreciate your work personally on this issue. And thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Yes. Sorry. So long.
Our next three speakers are Jean Paul, and I apologize, I can't make out the last name, Happy Idrissa, and Tony Harris.
Long time homeless people. That problem can happen for everybody. If it don't happen for you, it can happen for your child, or to your dad, or to your mom. It's a problem for all of us. Life is changed. We need help. If anybody has a possibility to serve homeless people, you can help. If you don't, nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. It's a problem for everybody. Help. Don't stop anybody to help people, because nobody knows tomorrow. If it don't happen for you, it go to happen to your daughter. It go to happen to your son. It's life. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony Harris is next, followed by Ricardo O'Mara.
Tony Harris, Funds County, San City. And the first thing is about the homeless problem. For law enforcement, we come with the raids, or they just come up to people that are homeless, can't go out. A lot of times, they'll throw away the property. If there's like a policy or a way to retrain them to where, like in some cities, they have it where cops will come if they're unarmed. A lot of times when they're armed, it's intimidating people. Like in Milwaukee, for instance, they have where that train mental health cops. And they have more artillery on them. They come, like the fire department comes, the park rangers, when they get there, they call the mental health cops. And, talk to the person that's homeless. A lot of times they're having like physical or mental problems. But PPD, a lot of times when they come, like in the zone area, be contentious. They're like bad rulers or something. Might end up kicking them out of the area, taking their property and destroying it. I've lost property before, birth certificate, driver's license. It's hard to get a birth certificate, new one, use it. So you can imagine if I was homeless before, and so if they take all the property, it's hard to get it back, obviously. And also, probably when the summer is coming up, it'd be a good idea to have more 24-hour cooling centers. And, since there's so many homeless people in bigger buildings, you can find that. Medicaid cuts that are coming up. Here they might cut it all the way off. People are not going to have personal doctors. So they can end up having to go to the ER as the actual doctor, but they're not going to be able to afford the premiums. They have health insurance for childless adults. So, also, as I was walking up here, I saw some park rangers look like they were harassing some homeless people right outside the door right here. going to lead up to. And what's a shame is that there is Medicaid cuts at federal and state level, because then you can buy that, but people that can't afford, especially if they're homeless, can't afford to pay a monthly premium for health insurance, they're going to be screwed. So hopefully there's some type of something to be put in the budget for health care for the city for homeless people that don't have any money. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Ricardo, next.
Hello, my name is Ricardo from District 4. Just wanted to say thank you for hosting this event tonight. Appreciate y'all taking the time to do this. I was looking over this informational paperwork that y'all sent out. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts. I feel like looking at the public works, I feel like it's not a good idea to eliminate the $500,000 for facilities management. Seems like something that should be kept in. Cities do well by having maintenance, and I think $500,000 is quite a bit to take out. I also feel cutting the $2 million in park maintenance is not a good idea as well. Phoenix, I feel, has beautiful parks, but frankly, I love going to different cities, and a lot of other cities have gorgeous parks, but their parks are maintained really well. And reducing $2 million is frankly not a good idea. I feel like our parks are places that we can take care of, and I think everyone uses our park, and especially for our homeless population, we want to make sure that they have nice parks too, right? And we want to all have nice parks. Also, I see here the reduction in museums, $175,000 in the Office of Arts and Culture. I don't think that's a good idea either. I feel like the museums here are great, and they offer free events for us too, and to reduce that, especially for our children, for our community here, that's what makes Phoenix cool. We don't want to get rid of what makes Phoenix cool. Same thing with the neighborhood revitalization programs. Over the Cesar Chavez Day, myself and Laura Pastor were out cleaning up our neighborhoods, and I feel to reduce $74,000 in landscape maintenance is exactly the reason why our neighborhoods need some support. So $74,000 is a lot of dollars, and for a year, I think that's not a good idea to reduce. So reconsider that, please. Also, the $7,000 in the interpreter services, reducing the funding is not a good idea. I feel like that's actually very inaccessible, considering that we do have a lot of folks here that rely on interpreting and translation services. And I mean, frankly, even if not everyone uses it, to reduce $7,000 of it speaks volumes, I think, about the decisions of our city, right? I come from an immigrant background, and I know if I came into a meeting and there wasn't those services possible, I feel some type of way about it. It would reduce my impact and participation. The library material also, I echo that, $250,000. We should support our libraries and make sure that our libraries are taken care of instead of reducing those services. Even if they don't seem critical, they are critical for our collective. I do applaud the reductions in some of the positions here. I think that's a smart idea because we do need to make sure that our budgets are good in that aspect. And also, I do encourage local participation in our schools, if possible. I'm not sure how that would look, because I know that's not necessarily your level of governance, but Phoenix Union High School District, for example, right here, would love a great partnership in terms of scholarships or things like that in our high schools. I know at North High School, I think we're in your district, for example, something like that would speak volumes, and I think would actually really bring a lot of what's the word, enrollment to our schools. And right now that's something that I think would be cool. As an educator, I think that would be a very awesome experience to have in the city. And then also I echo what some of my constituents or colleagues peers have shared about the bike lanes. Good bike lanes in this area is very important, very much needed. I used to live in Tempe. I used to ride bikes there all the time because it felt safe and it was cool. Here, it doesn't feel the same. And that would be something that, in some of the streets we have, like 12th Street is pretty nice to ride on. Osborne is okay, you know, and then riding through the neighborhoods is cool, but Thomas is terrifying. Osborne can also be very terrifying, especially right here on 12th Street and Osborne with that crosswalk. There's like no bike lane. And there's also not a sidewalk. This is on the sidewalk on the country club, on the side of Osborne is so dangerous. There's no lights, there's no sidewalk. I saw 3 people crossing the street through there running, and if I didn't have my lights on and I wasn't going slow enough, someone could hit them, you know what I'm saying? So that spot needs to be desperately looked at. And, you know, echoing to, like, you know, our homeless population here, they are people too. They are residents of our district. And it's important that, you know, we just maintain that it's accessible for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker will be Faith Kearns.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Faith Kearns. I'm an advocate with Fund for Empowerment. We have spoken a lot in all the meetings regarding health, regarding keeping the shelters open. We can't close these shelters. We also can't close any of the summer respite centers. These people need help. Any of you at this point can be in the same situation as a lot of people, and that is, guess what? No 1 or 2 paychecks anymore. Wasn't because I wasn't paying my bills. It's because I have lost my form of money. And that's what's happened. So definitely please try to increase the funding and help those who have difficulty helping themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. That concludes our in-person speakers for tonight. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Councilwoman Pastor for some closing remarks.
Before I close, I'm going to read some from the comment card that did not want to speak because I just want to put it on record. This is safety. You all do not need to be giving so much of our money to policing people while there are people in most need of your love. Please expand heat shelters, water stations for people experiencing homelessness, fund housing, fund school districts. Isaac Middle School and Isaac School Districts are looking dilapidated, and we need summer school or summer programming for kids. Cut more from police. Save out, do not cut out. Save the libraries and do not cut any library funding. Thank you. These comments were to be placed on the record so that they are part of our log of what comments were said. I just want to thank everybody. There were good points, and there are many needs in our community, as we heard. What I can say is for the VFW and really understanding there are what I would call navigators, caseworkers, what they call service officers that connect our veterans and help our veterans move through a system, a very difficult system, I would say, to their benefits and benefits that they deserve. And I will do what I can to help in this space. I do want to state that arts and cultures is definitely an area that I would say we all love, only because we benefit from it, but arts and culture brings the vibrancy of our city. And so as much as we can, I hope that we can look at that, as long with heat resilience and our bike lanes for safety. I do believe in protected bike lanes. I do not, and people have heard this from me, if you're going to put a bike lane in District 4, it needs to be protected. And protected by cement, and have that width that is needed. Fire, I'm with you. I've always been with you. And we'll continue to advocate for more of our fire stations that are needed. When we build fire stations, we also have to build staffing and maintenance. So it's not just a station, it's also the staffing of it and the firefighters and firewomen there, but also the maintenance of our stations. So we have to think ahead in doing that. And of course, to continue with fast track cities and making sure that we end AIDS by 2030, since we committed to that, not only nationally, but internationally. And we are part of the leads in some of the cities, so we should be proud of that. Elizabeth, Jean, Pappy, Ricardo, Tony, Frank, I hear you, I understand. We continue to do as much as we can to place money into our homeless situation, but also into our housing and also into the space of our public health. We are, I would say we are the #1 city in this state that is leading in that space and continue to lead, but there's a certain point where we're gonna bust. And so we need other cities also to lead. I'm hoping that MAG will continue what they need to do in order to build a comprehensive plan throughout our state. But I hear you. And I hear yes, I believe in maintenance, and maintenance of our parks, maintenance of public works. It's important to have maintenance within our buildings. One of the things that I discovered when I entered office, I wasn't part of it, but we went through a recession. I lived it, and what we did as a city was pull back on our maintenance. And then when I was in office, I saw the results of that, because we had to then have emergency pieces and repair a lot of our areas where maintenance should have been done. I'm a big advocate, if anything in the budget in this space is we protect our maintenance piece, because we will pay more in the future or tomorrow. Public libraries, of course, and our public health is important. But most importantly, and they left because they probably needed to get home, was Evelyn and Annika and John Walker. I have grown with them as I've seen those girls grow and become into lovely young ladies as they're growing, and also their brother who was a baby and is probably now, I think he's about 4 now. And so I've had the pleasure of, through my service, to be able to watch them blossom and grow, and that's nice to see. And they have always advocated at a very young age for their bike lanes. They are a family that bikes everywhere. I see them at the grocery store. We have talks, and so they are well connected within our District 4 framework of where the bike lanes are and how they move. So I appreciate them. And I appreciate everybody that is here. And I am going to end because I think it's now time for us to get to our families and at least have some moment of space of just to reflect of our day and maybe detox from our day or disconnect from our day, and be able then to be ready for tomorrow morning. So thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. And I really appreciate everybody's comments. Good night to staff and good night to District 4. Thank you.